Hello everybody, welcome on API TV. Today is a special day. We are Tuesday, the 8th of March, and it is International Women's Day. It is celebrated annually to commemorate the cultural, political and socio-economic achievements of women. We have decided to dedicate our program to gender equality. And the first question is, where does this celebration come from?
The earliest Women's Day observance, called National Women's Day, took place on February 28, 1909, in New York City, organized by the Socialist Party of America at the suggestion of activist Teresa Malkiel.
In August 1910, an International Socialist Women's Conference was organized in Copenhagen, Denmark. The German delegate Clara Zetkin and others proposed the establishment of an annual Women's Day. The 100 delegates representing the 17 countries agree with the idea as a strategy to promote equal rights, including women's right to vote.
The following year, on March 19, 1911, the first International Women's Day was marked by over 1 million people demonstrating in Austria, Denmark, Germany and Switzerland. Across Europe, women demanded the right to vote and to hold public office and protested against employment sex discrimination. The United Nations began celebrating International Women's Day in 1975, which had been proclaimed the International Women's Year.
In 1977, the United Nations General Assembly invited member states to proclaim March the 8th as an official United Nations holiday for women's rights and world peace. It has since been commemorated annually by the UN and much of the world, with each year's observance centered on a particular theme or issue within women's rights.
Together with peoples from other countries, we have done a survey on gender equality in our school in Chalab, France. The results are interesting. Half of the pupils think that men and women are not equal today. The most quoted male profession is mason. The most quoted female profession is cleaning lady. The most quoted situation where equality between men and women is not respected is wages. We also dealt with influencers who deliver messages to boy or girl. It is interesting to see that more than half of the pupils have no opinion about influencers. Some of them do not follow anyone. However, those who have no opinion may actually be influenced, but they do not realize it. This result led to a very lively debate in your class, as you will see.
I think equality depends on what we are talking about. For the wages, we are not equal, but we are equal for other things.
In my opinion, there is no equality between men and women, whether we're talking about physical or intellectual equality.
I think there is no equality. Women would more be nurses and men would more do hard-working jobs.
I think it's stupid to say that a profession is male or female.
Women can't not become lawyer or mason because they have too fussy and girly.
We can check on a historical point of view. Men have achieved many more things than women.
I think we are not equal because people's mentalities aren't ready yet.
For me, equality between men and women does not exist and will never exist.
There is more equality between men and women than before.
We are more equal now, but there are still some inequalities.
For us to be all equal one day, we'd have to change people's mentalities, by educations or I don't know how.
There will never be any equality between men and women. That's just the way it is.
There may be an equality one day, but for the moment, there is no reason to look for something that does not exist.
Women have to be in the kitchen, inside.
I'm shocked actually when some people say that there are some films for girls and some other for boys.
I watch a lot of shoujo, which is a manga for girls, but I'm not ashamed of talking about it.
When boys say that girls are more sensitive than them, it's wrong. I know a boy who cried when he saw the film Titanic, a film for girls, whereas I did not cry. It only depends on one's emotional reaction, not on one's gender.
We are conditioned by the society itself. A certain image of women is being forced upon us. This has to change. Some people are suffering from it.
So there can't be any equality without gender.
I don't care if some men feel better as women, or if some women want to become men. What annoys me is when people feel they are neither men nor women. That does not exist.
I don't agree. You are what you are when you were born, but it has nothing to do with the gender that you feel inside you.
They are nothing in this case. You cannot create a third gender.
You don't have to put people in boxes. Everybody has a right to be what they want.
Some people don't know or don't want to choose. They have a right to it. You can't say that they don't exist.
I told you it was very lively. What is your opinion on this issue? Tell us what you think. The girl from our class went to Toulouse with our teacher a few weeks ago. They were invited by a French high school of engineering called Institut Supérieur de l'Aéronautique et de l'Espace. They took part in a discussion forum about gender equality. Our reporter, Thomas, has interviewed them.
So, you went to this forum in Toulouse?
Yes.
What did you do there?
We had an interesting debate about women.
The question was, what would you change in your life if you were a man? Would you be happy? Why?
Oh, okay. And what were the answers?
Well, we would be less influenced when we choose a future profession.
Yes, and we would be less afraid of being poorly regarded only because we are women.
And we would be less afraid of walking alone in the street by night.
Was there really this feeling of fear?
Oh, yes.
I would be happy to be less sexualized about everything.
As for me, it wouldn't change anything.
Thank you. And did you do other activities during this forum?
Yes, there was a kind of workshop about stereotypes. They showed us some photos of men and women, and we had to guess the jobs.
It was very disturbing because your physical appearance has nothing to do with your job.
For example, you think that a man looks like a star chef, you know, and in fact he is a lawyer or an architect.
We are always influenced by what is around us, especially in advertising. Almost 10 years ago, there were 2 ads for the French national education. On the first one, you can see a woman who has become a teacher. It is shown as a miracle, whereas for the man who has done the same, Well, he has succeeded. He deserves to be a teacher. It is biased point of view.
What did you prefer in this forum?
We also visited the machining place, where they use 3D and laser prints, and this is what I prefer.
I prefer the workshop about the deconstruction of stereotypes.
Thank you for answering my questions.
You're welcome.
To stay on the subject, Luna, our specialist in manga, is going to speak about The Way of the Apron.
Yes, Mai. Tatsuo, famous and feared Yakuza boss, the immortal dragon, is withdrawing from business to stay home. So he can support Miku, his wife, in her career. The series features comic episodes where there is a parallel between Tatsu's mundane domestic work and his personality and his intimidating appearance. There are frequent clashes with former associates and Yakuza rivals.
This is the end of our news broadcast. Have a nice day and see you soon on API TV!